Hey, Dr. Miller, Truth Family Chiropractic. Hey, tonight I'm going to talk about raising healthier kids. I'm going to do this workshop. We just had a dinner last month, and raising healthier kids was a topic. I went through this PowerPoint, and so much feedback. People wanted more information, and they wanted to hear it again. So I'm going to do this workshop and be able to spread it out, give it to the people that attended, but also give it to our patient base. And then what I hope happens is if you learn something on this, learn some information, that you would pass it on to somebody that you know that has unhealthy kids, or that is struggling, or just has kids in general that need help. We're going to go through this. We're going to start with the brutal facts. Brutal facts about children's healthcare right now. The United States spends more money on healthcare than any other. But it's interesting where we rank. There's 40 industrialized nations that were in a study, and the United States ranked 38th out of 40th in children's health. That's terrible, but we spend the most money on healthcare, and that's healthcare in general, from babies all the way up to elderly. Something's wrong. Our system does not work if we're spending the most money, and we rank 38 out of 40. 75% of the prescription drugs in the world are taken by us, the United States, but we have only 5% of the population. Again, not good, not a good situation. Talked about where we rank 38th. The overall child well-being. So there's some different factors of what's going to go into of a child being well. One, the studies show economic, the education of the parents and the children, just the health of the parents, and then the family and community that they live in. It is essential that parents play a good role model for the kids, because they're watching you. If you're eating Twinkies and Mountain Dews and drinking Mountain Dews every day, guess what the kids are going to want to do? They're going to want to do the same. So the parents have to be a good role model for those kids. Our kids rank, look at some of these statistics. Percentage of U.S. children with less than optimal health, 7% to 23%, 7% to 23%, average 16. Experts have concluded that medical care and genes actually play a small, very tiny, minute role in compared with the influence of physical and social conditions. So it's the environment that people are in. You take a fish bowl, you put a fish in a fish bowl, and when that bowl gets dirty and the fish dies, do you keep putting a new fish in there? The fish is going to die. But the solution is get rid of the dirty water, change the environment so the fish can live. So it's all about the environment that these kids are living in. Okay. If we keep doing what we've always done, we'll keep getting the same results. That's the definition of insanity. If we keep doing the same thing and get the same results, that's insanity. But there is a better way. So first, you're designed to be healthy. And some philosophy, like when a baby's born, you think about a baby, two cells come together, 9 months later, trillion cell babies come out, right? That's amazing. That's a miracle. If that can happen, if the baby can be formed and designed, the baby can heal. The baby does not have to be sick. It talks about, what about my genes? We have 20 to 25,000 genes in our cells, in each cell, in our genetic code, but that's not what causes children to be sick. The genetic code has not changed for many years. I mean, thousands and thousands of years. It's the environment that's changed. And I contend the environment in today's world is way worse than it was even 20, 30, 50 years ago. So people get sick because of the lifestyle, the environment, and the decisions that we make. We're designed to be healthy. The genetic code, we're designed to be completely healthy. Now, if there's something when you're born and there's a genetic issue, yes, then that can be genetic, but that's a very small percentage of children. It's usually the environment that they're around. So which genes are expressing toxicity or deficiency? So you can express the genes, and you have control of this. You can turn genes on, turn them off. So if it's a gene that's going to downregulate insulin, sensitivity or upregulate it. You have control. If you're eating a bunch of sugar, it's going to upregulate or downregulate that gene that controls the insulin, and you're going to have diabetic kids a lot faster. So it depends on what you do. Think of a gun. When you have a bullet, bullet in the chamber, it doesn't hurt anybody unless you pull the trigger, and that's the environment. That's the environment is the trigger. We're pulling the trigger. So we want healthy lifestyles is going to help the genes express correctly. Your body's intelligent. I talked about those two cells, egg and sperm, coming together, and 90 days later, 9 months later, you have a brand new baby. Amazing miracle. I mean, you think about that. That is incredible. And then after the baby's born, and how the baby just knows to go to mom's breast and start breastfeeding. I mean, I've seen that. I have 3 kids. I've seen that with every one of my kids, and how when they're babies, how that happens. It's a miracle. It's just amazing, and how the body develops. It starts with 2 cells, and it goes to 4 cells, to 8 cells, to 16, to you do the math. It just multiplies, right? But the first thing that forms is the brain. Second thing is the spinal cord, and then all the vertebrae that come out of there. So that's the most important development, is that nervous system, that things that starts the development, and then from the nerves, all the tissue, all the organs form off the nervous system. You don't have to think about any of it. It just happens, right? You have that innate intelligence in your body that can control the baby, control the function, and control the whole growing process. Your nervous system is a master system. It's the master controller. If you look at the spine right there, you see the back of the skull, the 7 cervical vertebrae right here, 12 thoracic in the mid-back, 12 lumbar. In between each of those vertebrae comes out a nerve. And when you get out of alignment, that's going to cause subluxation. And that's when the deterioration of the nervous systems, the messages from your brain down your spinal cord across those nerves, can start happening. We want to keep, number one, from that system, we want to keep that functioning healthy from birth right away. One thing that can happen, trauma, birth trauma. Sometimes the doctors, if they have to pull the head and shoulders out, can subluxate from C1. The forceps, vacuum, C-sections. All 3 of my babies were C-section. So I've seen them. I've watched. I looked over the curtain. I watched the doctors pull the babies out. It's not a gentle thing. And immediately, I had my hands on my kids' Atlas within 20 minutes when they were born. Once I got them in my hands, I was adjusting them right there in the room. So keeping the nervous system healthy throughout their life is very important. That's a lifeline. And then they develop the vertebrae as they grow and get older. Those vertebrae harden up, get ossified, and then the accidents that they have. How many times does a 1.5-year-old fall down and hit their butt? Then there's accidents, traumas. We just want those kids growing up with a healthy nervous system and not having any issues as they grow. Modern day life is unnaturally stressful. It is. It's very stressful for these kids. I think now more than ever, obviously, they don't get a phone right away, but as they get older, and then into the teen years, just the stresses, the stresses with school, with sports, with just growing up, being on social media, and that puts a lot of stress on kids, and unnaturally too much. That creates sympathetic fight or flight stress symptoms. They're up way too late, not enough sleep. So parasympathetic sympathetic problems, fight or flight, always in fight or flight, is going to cause problems over time. So natural development all matters, from being in the womb, from before getting pregnant, the birth process, breastfeeding, and then the toxic exposures. There's been studies on fetal blood that there's 216 different toxins in that bloodstream while the baby's in the womb. That's a lot. That's a lot of different toxins going on, and then they get out in the world. There's a bunch of toxic exposures. Fevers, fevers are actually a good thing though. When the body heats up, a fever is going to kill off the bad bacteria, the viruses, and it's going to cause that body temperature to raise. It is so hard to watch your babies with a fever because they're crying and they're so uncomfortable. But once it breaks, they're back to normal, and it's almost like that. I've watched my kids go through that, and once it breaks, boom. My oldest son, when he was younger, he would have a 24-hour fever, and literally it would break, and you wouldn't know that he was ever sick. So one thing that people do, parents that we do, is we want to give them an acid fever reducer, and on Tylenol or Advil or whatever to reduce that fever. But don't do it. Don't do it. You want to just reduce that pain and fever for them. But once you reduce it, it just extends the process longer. So if you can let it ride and let it go, and once it breaks, then they're going to be back to normal a lot faster. I mean, obviously, you want to be smart. If it skyrockets, if it goes from 98 to 106 in like 10 minutes, there's could be something else going on. Then you want to go to the doctor in the emergency room. But if it's a steady fever, let it go. Let it go. Their bodies are able to handle it. And I know you want to help them and take that pain away. But if you let them go, man, it's going to be a lot better for them. And even the next time that they get exposed to something, it's going to be way better for them naturally to fight it off. Teething, when teeth pop through the skin, man, if you had bone popping through the skin as an adult, you'd be pissed too. You'd be hurting. So it does hurt when those teeth start coming through. Playing in the dirt, good bacteria. We're not going to get too deep into that, but man, we have a ton of bacteria in your GI system on our skin. Get them exposed to stuff. The more they're exposed to it, helps build their immune system. Unnatural development matters too. So C-section. I talked about my 3 kids. They're C-section, and I thank the Lord for medical system because none of them were coming out naturally. Just said things happened and it wasn't going to happen. So, man, thank God for great surgeons, the team, the anesthesia team, and the nurses. Amazing. I mean, it happened really, really amazing for us and great care, but it's still not natural to do that. So again, what did I do? I was adjusting them right away, making sure that they're getting milk from mom right away, from the breast. So even though it's C-section, you can do a lot of things that can help them, coming through the vaginal canal, they get bacteria that squeezes their lungs out. There's just a lot of advantages to doing that. But if it is C-section, you want to do things to help them just gain immunity faster. Formula fed, again, if you have to do formula, there's better brands than others out there. You really want to do your research on that and get a really good brand that is going to fit for your family. Over sanitizing, we're in this state of, after COVID, it's a state of cleaning everything. Like, it's okay to be exposed to viruses and bacteria. They're everywhere anyway. On my face right now, on the table that I'm on, there are bacteria and viruses all over the place. Don't get so overzealous on cleaning everything. I know obviously you want to keep clean and, but man, just killing everything with strong antimicrobial cleaners, don't do it. Okay. Don't do it. Just use soap and water. Early antibiotics. Antibiotics kill the gut, especially babies get ear infections, or kids, they get sick. They might get put on antibiotics. If you do it too much, it's going to kill the microbiome in the gut. Shots, vaccination. So this is a controversial topic. I'm going to introduce a couple of things about it, kind of show you the behind the curtain of what the doctors don't tell you about the vaccines. Again, it's very controversial. I know what I do, and I'll share that. But we support whatever you do. It doesn't matter if you do or you don't. I think there's a lot of education behind that. Once you learn behind what goes on behind the curtain, a lot of people are like, that doesn't even make sense. They choose not to. But whether you do or don't, I support you no matter what, because your child still has a nervous system and they need to be, if they have subluxation, they need to be adjusted. So, but I think it does make a difference in learning. Just the more you know, the better decisions that you can make. So I just want to go over 3 things that the doctors don't tell you about those shots. One is that there's toxic ingredients in those. And again, I'm not going into a deep dive on this, but just hitting 3 topics on what's in them. The first one, the toxic ingredients, and this slide right here is taken from the Hep B vaccine. So, less 24-hour old baby, they're giving them a hepatitis B shot. Now, in my opinion, just logically, just thinking about hepatitis B, like if mom doesn't have it, how you get that is through sex, drugs, needles, doing things in life, right, as an adult. That baby doesn't have any exposure to hepatitis B. So one thing that one toxic ingredient is aluminum, and several of the childhood schedule, even adult schedules, the shots have aluminum in it, and the first one is the hepatitis B. So it doesn't make sense in my brain to put in a 24-hour-old baby, shoot aluminum directly into their bloodstream. So it talks about it's on the red, amorphous aluminum hydroxysulfate, formaldehyde's in it. That's not a natural thing. That's embalming bodies after they pass. So you have formaldehyde, aluminum hydroxyphosphate, and then just goes through formulations contain approximately 0.5 milligrams of aluminum, again, amorphous aluminum hydroxyphosphate, absorbed into more 0.5 milligrams of aluminum per milliliter of vaccine. So they're putting 0.5 milligrams of aluminum into those babies. That's a lot. That's a lot. And aluminum is one of the second most toxic heavy metal on the planet. Mercury is number 1. Mercury used to be in the shots. Now it's out, and they put aluminum in. And why they do that is they call it an adjuvant. So an adjuvant is something that triggers your immune response. So they put that aluminum in there. It's called an adjuvant. It's going to trigger the immune response to be higher than and make more antibodies for the hepatitis B virus. That's why they put it in there. But it's very toxic. And aluminum, there's been studies too where aluminum can cross the blood-brain barrier by macrophages, which are a part of your immune system, that they gobble that. It's a toxicity, so they gobble it up and they want to get rid of it, but some of it goes to your brain. The macrophages can go across the blood-brain barrier, and then the macrophages are like, well, I don't know what to do with it, so they drop it off up in the brain, and it just stays there, and it doesn't come out. So, just something to think about, something to start learning about if that interests you at all. Second thing about the shots is there's no safety testing. Now, you probably heard this word, safe and effective through COVID and the childhood vaccines. Well, they have never done, our government, the CDC, FDA has never done a full safety test on any of the vaccine schedule. That might surprise you. It did me when I first found that out. I was like, what the heck? Because a standard trial for anything, if you take a medicine, you're going to do the medicine and a placebo, right? A sugar pill. And you're going to watch it over several years to get a drug on marketed and approved by the FDA. But here's a loophole for the vaccine schedules. They don't have to do that. And what they do is they use the vaccine. So this one is the ProQuad. So that would be measles, mumps, rubella, and polio. That's the ProQuad. That's 4. So instead of using a placebo over here, they take 1,000 kids and put the ProQuad in, and 1,000 kids, and they should do a saline shot, but they don't do that. Instead, in the green, they use the MMR2 vaccine and Varivax, which is the chickenpox, and at 12 to 23 months, but they don't use the saline solution. And then they monitor which one has more side effects. Well, they have the equal amount of side effects, so it's okay and it's good. Well, that's not a safety test at all. That's not a double-blind placebo clinically controlled trial. And that's where I have a problem with that, because if you study every single vaccine that's ever been tested, none of them have it. I don't care whether it's Tdap, the hepatitis, any of the childhood schedule. The only one that they did a saline shot was when they did COVID. But the third thing, the length of the trials to get the FDA approval, this is where it's very short. So the COVID was either 7 days or 14 days. Oh, anything happened after the 15th day doesn't count. It's not a side effect, not a they call them a flag or a signal in the study. And on the screen here, the Tdap. So I just picked two of them, Tdap and Hep B. For the Tdap, to get that thing approved by the FDA, they studied it from day 0 to 14. That's it. 14 days, 2 weeks. That's it. In the hepatitis B, 434 doses were administered in 147 infants. That's it, 147. To me, if you're doing a trial, you'd want to do like thousands, probably would be a good size powered trial. But they monitored it for 5 days. 5 days, that's it. So on day 6, if something happened, didn't count, right? So another issue that once you study it and look behind the curtain, you're like, only 14 days you studied this thing and then got it approved, and only 5 days, and that's very common in that childhood schedule. So again, this is just get people start thinking about, okay, maybe I should just do my own study. And that's what I tell everybody. It's a parental decision. You need to do some study. We can help you with some resources like this one, Just the Inserts. And I got all that information from FDA.gov, from our government website. So that's not my information. That is from FDA. That's from our government, our regulating agencies. This is a great resource, justtheinserts.com, because that is going to give you can search for all the different vaccines, whether it's children, adult, teen, and it will take you through all the, everything that you need to know. It makes it a little easier to find instead of looking at the package inserts. So just some information on that. Do what you want with it, but if you're kind of concerned about it, because here's what I get from moms all the time. I'm consulting with them, and they start crying because, one, they've questioned the pediatrician and they get yelled at. Door gets closed, they get lectured, or they just have not a good feeling about taking their babies in to get their shots because maybe they had a reaction last time, and they sit in the car and cry before they go in. So just things that I've heard from mamas as the years have gone by. And I just think that do your research, do your own research. Don't believe me. Go to these sources, go to the FDA website, look it up, and you can do that on your own. So 5 vital factors that affect your immune function during the school year. 1 is dietary, so toxic and deficient, too many carbohydrates, too much candy, too much sugar. Sleep, not enough, on their cell phones, on media too much. Posture, screen and backpacks. They get heavy backpacks on there. Movement, lack of, so they're not moving enough. Lack of vitamin D and stimulation interaction, and then subluxation and problems with their spine. So school nutrition, toxic and deficient. Ooh, man, yeah. Sometimes the school lunches can be toxic and deficient. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully your school is great, but um, send them to school with snacks. That would be good. How can you help? Make a breakfast a priority. Get something good in them. Pack their lunches for leftovers. Home cooked dinners. No sodas. Get rid of the sugar. Supplement with just 4 basic supplements: probiotic, bacteria, vitamin D, all year round. I think is very good. Fish oils and multivitamin. All 4 of those are very good. Just basic supplements to help their bodies function better. Here's some pictures of example. There's a egg mix in there with spinach and tomatoes. Look at the smoothie in there with blueberries, bananas, kale, strawberries, cheese and meat snacks there, raspberries, almonds, walnuts, chia seed pudding there, avocados, turkey bacon. I mean, a lot of good stuff there. You can make a lot of good stuff, and it's healthy and it tastes good. Sometimes you got to change their taste buds. Morning strategies: fuel their bodies. Get smoothies in there. Great for picky eaters, just so they can drink it. Movement before and after school. Get them exercising. Make them do an activity so that they're exercising, even if it's at home. Trampoline, jumping on the mattress, running, working out with parents. Leave them laughing. Slow down. Get rid of their worries and stress. Okay, have fun with them. Make them laugh. 2-minute rule. First 2 minutes in the morning when you see them, make it very positive. Last 2 minutes before you go to bed, make it positive. Just give them something positive for the brain to think about. Sleep is essential. Make it a routine. No screen time within at least 30 minutes of bedtime. Artificial light simulates wakefulness. Tablets, TV, video games, keep them out of the bedroom. Dark. So, just sleep. You got to get them to bed before 10 p.m. That 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. time, those 4 hours are essential to have good sleep. Stress, it's a big deal. Teachers, friends, sports, appearance, grades, schedule, popularity. It's just, as the kids get older, it's stressful. So just be positive with them and, make that stress go down. Try to make that go down, especially being at home. Physical, we talked about movement, eliminate waste and toxins. Sweating is a good thing. It gets rid of toxins, increases circulation. So the blood is moving through the body better. Lymph flow. Lymph is a huge immune response. Keeps stress hormone production low. We don't want kids running around with stress hormones going on in their body, adrenaline and cortisol. Keep those low. Kids are supposed to move before they start learning, so get them moving in the morning. And then disease harbors and stagnant tissues. So if they're not moving, for everybody, not just kids, but adults too, if that tissue is not moving, not replenishing, that blood flow is not going through there, it's going to get stagnant. Posture, window to the spine. So, backpacks, we want those backpacks tightened up, 2 straps around there. Don't let them, do this, look down. That's very bad posture. So make sure that we're getting their backpacks right. Tech neck syndrome. This is a big one right there. Look from the side. Tech neck. Insurance companies have a diagnosable code called tech neck. Can lead to severe headaches, back pain, neck pain, developmental disorders, digital dementia. Like if you're on that thing, like it just messes up your brain. So let's keep that digital stuff, keep it at a minimum. Posture break, standing up. This is a good one. Wall exercise, we call it in the office, where you're squeezing back up a Y, bring it down to a W, then a T, and then you can drop it down, get those lower back muscles there. Good for posture break. Squeeze it for 15, 20, 30 seconds. You should feel some burning if you're doing it correctly. Posture analysis, make sure from the side that head, shoulders is right over the butt there, and everything is down to the side. Posture is very important. Why kids come into to our office. So ear infections are a big one. Asthma, breathing, constipation, can't poop. And we see that all the time, especially with those babies. Colicky, constipation, can't get rid of their air. Bedwetting, headaches. Kids should not be getting headaches, man. So when you can see it in their eyes when they come in, kids should not be getting headaches that much. Leg cramps at night. Just wellness checks. Make sure the nervous system subluxation free, allergy, skin condition, and again wellness. So ear infections, a retrospective study examining improvement with chiropractic care. This is great because 93% of all episodes improved with chiropractic care. 75% in 10 days or fewer. 43% was 1 or 2 treatments. So kids can heal so fast. But you want to keep you want to get those, if it is any infections, rather than treating it with an antibiotic, get them adjusted. Do that first before doing that. This is a good one. Chiropractic treatment for primary nocturnal enuresis, which means bedwetting. A case series of 33 consecutive patients. This was actually in a chiropractic clinic, and it was about 70% were improved. 70% of the 33 were improved. It wasn't perfect every single time, but 70% improved. Huge. If you have a kid that's bedwetting, older than what he or she should be, bring him in, get him adjusted. Chiropractic Big Five. The body is self-healing and self-regulating. The nervous system is a master control of the whole body. We talked about that. When there's interference in the nervous system, the body can no longer heal and regulate properly. The nerves control everything. Neuroimmunology. So nervous system, immune system, it's one and the same. If your nervous system's down, your immune system's down. So make sure that spine and subluxation free. Misalignments within the spine, subluxations are correlated to interferences with the nervous system. Chiropractors work to remove this interference by adjusting the spine and removing the subluxations to allow the body to heal itself without drugs and surgery. Okay, that's huge, man. Especially kids, they're so powerful. Now I talked about the subluxation in between each vertebrae. There's many different things. There's a lot of tissues in the spine. So there's a joint misalignment. There's actually the joint misalignment, soft tissue damage, muscle. So we have a lot of muscles in our neck, in our spine. Muscles can get tightened up on one side. Like if you're like this, that muscle damage, ligament damage can happen. It can inflame. That nerve can inflame, and if you jam your finger and that joint inflames, it hurts and you can't move it. What's going to happen if the joints around your spine inflame or the nerve inflames? It's going to hurt. Nerve irritation, muscle spasm. We talked about that. Those muscles are going to tighten up and cause the nerve to not work correctly. Lost imbibition. What that is how the joints are moving and materials coming in and out of the joint, how it's healing. Okay. Joint fixation and then degeneration. Micro traumas. We talked about that. A toddler hitting their butt how many times a day, climbing on trees, branches, swings. My daughter, she was 1.5 years and fell off the swing. She broke her tibia. She fell wrong. So traumas can happen. Look the way she's sleeping. Just kids are going to have traumas over time, and they need to be checked so that doesn't get worse. So hopefully that's making some sense now. Why you'd want to be in the office getting adjusted. We do have one live workshop coming up. It's called End Allergies and Asthma, another inflammatory neuroimmunology topic. But Dr. Humam is going to be going over that. We'll post a QR code on that, so if you guys can get signed up for that. But just want to tell everybody, if you have any questions, you're free to contact the office, 515-309-3791. You can text. You can email me at drmiller@truthfamilychiro.com. Get a hold of me that way. You can go to our website, send a chat in. a lot of different ways to get a hold of us if you have questions. But take this information, pass it on. If you do know somebody with sick kids, pass that information on. And just thank you for being on tonight.